happened without having a direct line to Papu himself, trying to sort of get the impression of the club and trying to get the sort of the feeling coming out of people like agents. But then on Monday, out of I suppose not out of nowhere, because Papu was rested at the weekend as Atalanta trounced Fiorentina. And look, he has played a lot of games. He has been in international duty this season, which he hadn't done for 3 years. He isn't a young guy anymore, and it's a very thick and fast calendar. Maybe you could still have excused that as a, look, he played against Ajax, we needed to give him some rest time. But on Monday, he posts on his Instagram stories, and the message says, basically, I haven't got the full text in front of me, but it says, listen, I can't talk to you, my fans, any other way than this. I just want you to know that when I leave, I'll tell you the full truth. I love you, your captain. And that when I leave dropped like a bombshell, frankly, because yes, there had been some speculation that he could be going. There was this sort of rumors of discontent, this idea that these scars from the Midtjylland defeat hadn't been healed. But it's a long step from having an argument with your manager to you're on the way out the door. So that was sort of this, again, bombshell moment in this whole story. The next twist, of course, is that on Wednesday night, he does play off the bench against Juventus. And I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought he was pretty important in turning the tide of that game.
Yeah, it's such a weird situation, Nicky. There was rumors that this rift had gone on since September when he was linked to Middle Eastern clubs and obviously big money moves. And Papu, in his career, he already had that medalist move in Ukraine. Unfortunately for him, that was when there was a war in Ukraine and he couldn't wait to get out. And that was at a time that he was linked to other big clubs and he turned them down. So this whole thing that, oh no, Papu wants to stay where, you know, they say the football that matters, right? In Italy, it's a saying that goes. And he's proven in the past that he's willing to go to smaller leagues if money's there. The most unfortunate thing about this is it felt like for the last 4 years, unity was the number one thing at Atalanta. And then suddenly you start hearing whispers. You heard him from Timothy Castagna when he went to Leicester saying that Gian Piero Gasperini and him didn't exactly have a great relationship. And maybe behind the scenes, there is this whole other situation where potentially, and Papu Gomez obviously is a big voice in the dressing room. He's the symbol of the club. I'm just wondering if with him and Gasperini falling out, is he also now taking other players with him that have now either turned on the manager because they've seen what's happened between Papu and Gasperini? Obviously, we don't have the details of exactly what happened, but I can imagine it was absolutely shocking to witness behind the scenes. There's a lot of questions. I'm perplexed, though, because Atalanta, what they've shown, unity, they've had this team spirit to overcome, to overachieve, and it is heartbreaking for anyone who is a fan of Serie A and a fan of Atalanta and what they've gone on to do.
It is really, isn't it, Mina, when you think about it? It seems so sad because if you were to pick out two figures behind Atalanta's success over these recent seasons, they are the two that you would pick out, the captain and the coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But I just think that Matteo just brought up a wonderful point about Timothy Castagna and the fact that he was saying that, you know, at the end of the day, he didn't really have the relationship with Gasperini that he particularly wanted. And I think that when you look at sort of Gasperini's time at Inter, it wasn't just the fact that he didn't get results. Obviously, that played a role, but of his relationships with the players, whether or not he was going to be able to get them on board to play the style of football that he wants, that is so demanding, that is mentally and physically exhausting. And it's about getting them all to read into that. And I wonder whether his type of character and the fact that he does want the freedom to do as he wants to do, and he's done a terrific job at Atalanta, but he does want to evolve the team, at least on a defensive level. He hasn't seen from the attack where he's wanted to. That's largely because Ilicic has also been away. Things haven't been working out. Everyone's so tired. They're playing every 3 days. It happens. But I think he wants to find a way where they don't concede too many goals. And I think that they've done that. I mean, looking at the way that they've come back against Liverpool, how they've done since then, it's about trying to find a bit more of a balance. And I think that perhaps the way that he's approached matters has not helped things. I don't know what's going on, but it's really shocking because Papu is almost Atalanta and Gasperini is Atalanta. So the fact that they would ever fall apart is crazy to think that. And also because Papu just seems like the world's nicest guy. I mean, I feel like Nicky, draws hearts every time she sees him. He's like that guy,
I think it's a great point. I've been wondering the same thing that you guys have about those Castagna quotes. They've been in my head since this whole thing developed. And I think all of us, definitely myself included, can sometimes come to these sort of totalitarian ideas about people. Like Gasperini is a good manager. He has done good things, and he has. But I think Gasperini's strength is that he's a tactical chameleon, that he does adjust, that he gets praised by Mourinho and Guardiola as someone who really they have to think about what they're doing against because they know that he'll react. That doesn't make him a good man manager. And the question that's sort of hanging over this whole situation for me is, what if Papu was almost the necessary counterbalance? Because he is leggerezza, he's lightness, he's joy, he's the big grin and the silly Instagram videos and all that sort of sense of fun to how he brings, is what he brings to the pitch. Gasperini, even in this difficult moment, I would argue, is being tactically intelligent. And it upset me a bit, this idea that you don't want Papu to be a tuttocampista, someone who goes all over the pitch because he's so good at it. But actually, that is a good solution to someone who's playing too many games, who is tired a lot, and who doing that is asking the whole team to compensate for them. So asking him to play close to goal makes sense. And as you just said, Mina, the team is playing well. But in the long run, I just think you take away Papu's energy, and I think that environment is going to look different at the very least.
Especially when you're playing against teams like Juventus. I always feel like, having a genius like Papu Gomez, he just knows how to manage the big games, how to just invent or create something. When he has that freedom, he's astonishing to watch. I mean, people say he's underrated, but I don't know if he's underrated because I think he's pretty much everyone's favorite player in Serie A. So having that, I mean, I just feel like if you put that player into Inter, if you put that player into Juventus, I feel like everyone would benefit, which isn't something that I can say of every number 10 or every wonderful player in Serie A, but he really knows how to make the difference. And I think when it came to the big teams in Serie A, no one would say no to Papu.
Mina and Nicky, this is just a short question, but we've all had to work with people we dislike, and at times people work together and they hate each other, but you're professionals and might be. No, but think about it. Like
Matteo is staring at through the Zoom. Yeah. It's hard to know which one.
I'm gonna leave that a secret.
Point to the ball.
Papu's getting paid a lot of money. Atalanta are through to the next round of the Champions League. At what point do you say, right, I don't care what's going on between you and Gasperini, you still have a job to do as the symbol, as the leader, as the captain, as someone who is getting paid a lot of money by a team in Atalanta that only recently was a team dropping down to Serie B. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, so I'm just speculating now, but there also has to be something drawn where you say, right, you're both professionals, both Gasperini and Papu Gomez. You have a job. You're getting paid handsomely to carry this team, to play on this team. You're in the Champions League, and you think that you put that aside because you say, right, I helped get this team to this amazing, miraculous run in the Champions League, and I'm going to leave right when we get out of the group stage yet again for the second consecutive season. I'm going to go to play in the Middle East. Like,
before you play Real Madrid.
It's so weird.
Before
it's so weird.
Real Madrid. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think
makes
it's
no
going to
sense.
happen. I think he's going to stay. I think this is just like, I think it's a bad thing. And I just feel like somehow this is all going to resolve itself. I don't know whether this is wishful thinking, but I just almost can't imagine he'd leave. I think he's happy in Bergamo. I think he's unhappy with the situation now. But I really hope the club can pull it together with him and just find a way of resolving this issue, because I just think they can't afford to lose either the coach or their captain.
I think even the neutral hopes that this one is solved. And in January, we will know more. And if Papu does go, we'll know more about what was actually the reason behind this fallout.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.